ברוכים הבאים לפסטיבל דוק אביב ה-22 ולתחרות הבינלאומית. אנחנו שמחים לארח בפסטיבל את לאורה הררו גרבין, במאית הסרט למאמי. שמי תמי ליברמן, אני אנהל את השיחה שאורכה חצי שעה. אני מזמינה אתכם להשאיר שאלות באזור ה-Q&A בכל שלב שתרצו, ואנחנו נתייחס אליהם. רק שימו לב, לא לכתוב את השאלות באזור הצ'אט, אוקיי? כדי שהן לא יתפספסו על ידינו, כן באזור ה-Q&A, לא באזור הצ'אט. לבסוף אציין שדוק אביב רוצה להודות לשגרירות מקסיקו על תמיכתם בסרט. Welcome to the 22nd edition of Doc Aviv Film Festival and to the international competition. We are honored to have Laura Herrero Garvin, the filmmaker of La Mami, with us today. My name is Tami Lieberman, and I will be conducting the webinar, which will last 30 minutes. And I invite you to leave your questions in the Q&A section at any time. Make sure it's the Q&A section, not the chat section, which is where we might miss your question. Finally, we wish to thank the Embassy of Mexico for their support. So, Laura, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your wonderful film with us.
Yeah, I am so happy that the film is being in Doc Aviv.
Yes, we are as well. We are as well. So a few short words about the film. La Mami is set in we can call it a cabaret bar or cabaret club in Mexico City called Salon Barba Azul. I hope I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah.
Where, all right. Where live, sorry?
No, I would say it's like Bluebird. It's like Bluebird.
It's okay.
Like a Bluebird.
It's a Bluebird, okay. Where live music can be heard, where women are paid to entertain the guests of the place with a dance, with a chat. And what I would love to first ask you, and I will mention that a few of the questions, but just a few of them might repeat the questions that you heard, or you might repeat information that you've just shared in the past webinar panel that you've just been to, that was held as part of the festival. But I'm sure that we have people with us right now in this webinar that haven't been there. So it would be wonderful to share this with them again. So what led you to make a film in this cabaret club?
So yeah, so I was, I like to dance salsa a lot. So when I was living in Mexico 8 years. So when I was there, one night I went to dance salsa to El Cabaret Barba Azul with my friends. And when I went to the woman bathrooms, I met La Mami. I watched this woman who was like just cutting paper and saying everyone to keep clean everything, and you know, and also around about bags and everything. And I listened a girl, I remember so good that I listened a girl saying, La Mami, Mom, he asked me to marry with him. I love him, I would say yes. And she say, my girl, be calm, you are so drunk right now. You have to be here for a little, later we will see, I don't like this guy, blah, blah, blah. And another girl came and said, how is this dressing me? And I was like, just like freaking out with this situation and understanding and thinking how important it is to have this pillar, this mother in this like microcosmos that is super intensive, and make them you know, expose them, and they are like, it is super intensive, and it is super important to have this room where they can be in calm, and they have La Mami to organize them, to keep the place you know, protected, and to have this like own of their own, to be safe. And when I saw that, I understand that that was going to be my next project. I was drunk too, but I was like, okay, I have to come back here. And I say, La Mami, you know, I am an storyteller. I told stories through documentary and through movies. So I would like to come back to visit you and to know how it's going on here deeper. And she said, okay, come on Tuesday at night. And I was like, coming back. I was Tuesday at 9 o'clock. I was there like, hello, do you remember me? That's how I start. Yeah.
And as we can see in the film, it seems as if, well, we don't know how exactly your journey there began after that, your filmmaking journey, but we know how ours starts. And it starts with a woman who is also new to the place. She is, we are introduced to her as Carmen, but then after that, she changes her name to Priscilla, to Prissy. And we get this tremendous establishing shot and introduction to the club through eyes. We hear the requirements of the job, and we go in, we move from one floor to the other, and we get to see how this place works, not to mention the fact that we also hear her own personal story. And I wonder how you established that, because it seems so organic, but it's also, it works so well as a beginning. How planned was it? How did you come across the story, and how did you make it work?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like one friend said to me that I am super lucky girl, and he said like, so I wanted to start the shooting of this movie 1 year after we start. No, before we start. But we didn't get the funds, so we start the shooting in June 2018. After 3 years of investigations, and in this woman bathroom, like visiting this woman bathroom and getting deep and deep and deep. And when I felt ready, I said, you know, I want to start, but we didn't have the funds, so we had to wait a little more. And when we started to shoot, La Mami said to me, you know, one new girl came 2 days ago. And I said, oh my God, that's the thing that I was dreaming 3 years. Like, I really want to follow, you know, because it was super important. In a way, I knew so good that I didn't want them to talk to the camera. So I wanted a more observational and a movie that happens between them, not with me in. Like, I don't want to break the fourth wall and anything. So I was like, I want all the movie with talks between them. So I had to go so deep. And when this girl came, it was a super opportunity to me, because I wanted the audience to know the place through her eyes. And it was super important. And not only know the place, know how this world could change someone. How she at the beginning was so shy, and she was going like an expert of the night, and she's starting to be like, you know, more like you know, more passionate in the night, and more tricky, and more like she knows how plays the game, and how she was learning to play the game. And it was super important for me. And also because when I do a documentary, I always decide so good the distance between my characters. And for me, the main character was La Mami, but I needed a character who make me leave La Mami in the bathroom and go down to the dance floor. And it was super important for me that I knew this character had to be super important in the movie. It couldn't be like another girl. It has to be an important character. So Priscilla was like a present of the documentary. I don't know what of the documentary God or whatever.
One of those miracles, magical moments.
Yeah, how La Mami was praying, like, and she came. Yeah.
When you mentioned that the style of the film, which we can also experience while watching it, is an observational style, I wonder how influential your presence was while making the film. And did you direct the participants in some way, or were the talks developed more organically? How did you control or relinquish control when making the film?
Of course, there is a change when a camera is in a room like that. It was super important for me that the camera was not something that as strange as the girls who came there were like performers or something. I just want them to feel comfortable and natural. But of course, in some moments, because I really wanted to go to some places, I provoke something. But I provoke less than you can feel in the movie. Like the people could like a lot of people say like it seems like a fiction, and I say it's not a fiction. It's what happened is like I spent 3 years going deep and deep and deep, like getting close to them, and also there is the thing was like it was only for walls. It was a room, so I could be so aware everything that happens, but of course I provoke things, and they are super good because if you know that your characters work giving talk to the customers, they are super good talkers. They are super good talking and go through conversations. So for example, with La Mami and Priscilla, I always say something like, "Oh, Mami, did you ask Priscilla today for her son?" And she said no. So maybe you can start asking her for that. And and sometimes I talk with Priscilla and say, "Priscilla, did La Mami told you someday about her child?" And she say, "No, I don't know anything about La Mami child." And maybe you can ask today. And I only propose one question, and because they are amazing, they go through an hour conversations, going through a lot of things, and it was more about create a confidence climate, like a confidence ambient.
Yeah.
Sometimes I invite my English because I'm just not super good with English, but I talk as.
You're wonderful. No, you're doing wonderfully. I wonder, the fact that you spent 3 years there building trust and spending time there, I can imagine that the way that they saw you and your presence changed, just as you mentioned, but I wonder about how your perception of them changed, and if it changed. Did you come in with any preconceptions that were challenged while you spent your time there?
Yeah, of course. I also I say in the last conversation that I also start a movie because I really feel inside that there is something in me that I have to find in this place or through these people. So I knew I was in a moment that I needed to do a movie like this. I needed to enclose myself in this woman bathroom and explore them and explore me. It is a mutual exploration for me. It's like, for me, that's autoral movies about. There is something like, and of course my first approach always are like a little naive. Like I see always like good things, and they love each other, and this is like a bubble of protection and woman love, and later when I go deep and deep and deep, I realize that it's not everything as beautiful as I saw or as I thought. So I go I go getting complex. I start to build the complex of my history. That happens to me always in my movies. So I start the movie because I feel there is something so beautiful and inspirational for me, but later I go to getting complex, and I build the complexity of the movie. And of course, in this place in concrete, I knew I had to spend time because I knew I didn't have to folklorize this place. It is super easy if you go to this kind of place to folklorize, the place. So, and because there are a lot of like stigma and judgment around this woman in the Mexico society and in all the societies, I knew I have to go deep and deep and deep to do a movie as the value that I saw in them, in this woman. So that was super important. And of course, in the process of getting deeper, I understand the complex of their lives, but also I understand a lot their agency, their agency to choose what they want to do in their lives. So it was like, that's something that I learned. I could not stop to talk about what I learned of them, but that's super important that I learned about their agency and their power to resist in a world that are just in them, and
Yes, I think that this kind of agency is, you managed to express it. I think that the fact that you had such long familiarity with this space and with this world, that the agency comes through right from the first scene. And I think that's a great accomplishment. I will move to one question that was posted, and which I think it's kind of a smooth move to this one from what we just talked about, and it's about going deeper into this world. And you're asked, I would like to know, this anonymous attendee asks, if you intentionally didn't tell the full story of what's going on between the men and the women working in the club.
If it was in the intention to don't talk?
To leave it out of the film, to what exactly is going on between the men and the women in the club.
Yeah, I think we explained in the first conversation when Priscilla asked her new partner, or her new, college in the Barba Azul, how's the work? And she said, you have to dance and talk. But I know that, when you see that, your brain open to another question of, do they do prostitution, or do they? And it was super important for me, just because I believe in woman agency in general, to keep this open. But for me, there is not reasons to explain more how they work, because they say at the beginning they dance and they have drinks and talk. And also there is it was a strong decision for me to don't listen to the men, the customers. I decided that the movie has to be a woman, a woman voice, voices, and the men, the only men who will talk will be the singer of the band, of the orchestra, singing these songs that are more about romantic love, about jealousy, about a lot of kids, or tools that build all this patriarchal reality that they are facing every day about romantic love, and and that's something that I wanted to do. But the question is, I was thinking that people understand how they work, but maybe it's super familiar for me, or I don't know. Did you understand how they work, or if they were working in the prostitution or not?
I can only talk about my own personal understanding, and I did not think that it was prostitution. I thought that it was what we see, that it's the dancing and talking.
Yeah,
and that was my personal conclusion. But
but I am interested in it. It's like I always believe in movies that open windows to the people, so the people can imagine more things or not. And it's like, I know in the movie we say they only dance and drinks and give company to the men, but I understand that people could imagine that maybe they work in
there is the one person, one young woman who asks them, she says kind of cheekily and she patronizes them a little bit and says, I wanted to know how it is to be a prostitute. And I think that's one of Mami's greatest moments in the film, where she does not let her continue talk. She gives her an answer which is final. Yeah. I see there's also one more question. Did any of the women express a strong refusal to be part of the film? And the women who did agree, did they talk about what it does to them to be documented? So basically, you could say it's two questions. I'll repeat. Uh, First of all, were there any women who expressed a strong refusal to be part of the film?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
let's start with that. The second question is, those who agreed, did they talk about how it made them feel, how it was for them to be documented? So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole
Sure.
question.
Yeah, it was super important when I start the movie. I understand that because they are like it is a kind of heightened work because the judgment and the stigma around it. So when I start to visit them, it is difficult with the girls because they go and come back a lot. So I start to work with some girls and they go disappear and they later come back 3 months later and stuff like this. So when I start the movie, I talk with them like I want to do that, but I don't wanna bother you because I am coming to your workplace. So let's put rules. So there are like 4 kind of positions with this movie. Not be there in anything, like no voice, not body and anything. Be there with voice, but not with body. Be there with voice and with hair and everything, but not with face, and be with everything, like the whole of you in the movie.
Mhm.
So because I was the camera woman also, I was like just like, wow, she's coming. So I was shooting a lot of things. So that's one reason why I decided to work with voice out of frame, with the sound out of frame. I don't know if it's that in English.
Off-screen
Of
dialogue.
sound. So we build this community voice that is in some kind the same, but maybe we are not watching the people who is talking. There are voices that are there that they want to apport to the movie, but they didn't show their faces because they don't want it. So we start the movie like this, like 5 women didn't want to be there, 3 only with boys, 10 with boys and her, and at the end like 4 at the beginning, like 4 with everything. And when we were starting shooting and shooting and shooting, like during 8 months, at the end, everyone wanted to be in the movie. They were like super in love with the process, enjoying it a lot. They were like super happy, and so like this is our movie. We are gonna go to Cannes. I was like, and they were like, everyone wanted to be in the movie, and I say, yes, you make me feel so bad, like just moving the camera, and now everyone want to be there. So they get involved until they wanted to be there. And some of them, they say yes. And I say, hey, but are you sure? Because your family didn't know. I will tell them, but I want to be in the movie. They were like this, like, they were we became so good friends because it's like just like a small place and we spend a lot of time there. They are like super close friends. And about the process and about how they feel to be shot. So that it's like the ones who were like they were super happy to be shooted, and they were like asking about how it's gonna be if and we were told. I was saying everyone to like, do you remember this day that you say this, so I am sure this is gonna be in the movie. And they were, that's cool, and they were like, they were like they are super funny and good friends, and they are super, as you see in the movie, super funny.
I want to ask you about the structure of the film narrative and the different locations that we have, because I think it's quite fascinating. We have the upstairs, which is where we have the women and where they converse. We have the downstairs where the music is, where the women are silent, where there's men, where there's dancing. We have the in-between shots, which are the mostly day shots, which is the painting and the cleaning of the place. and the praying, that's where we have the praying shots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we have, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, only one outside shot, which is
Only one.
Carmen smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I wonder how you decided on the structure. Did you ever imagine involving other kinds of scenes? Was it the structure that you imagined from the beginning, or did it slowly evolve into it?
Yes. So, at the beginning, I was super focusing all these spaces, like to feel the character of these spaces and how, the background, it was like to be lighty and all the mirrors and reflections and also a lot of, light. The color is soft, is the place of the world. And the downstairs with these stairs that are amazing for me, these super transitions from the stairs, and all these, the dance floor who is like the color are intensive and there is more about body language. There is not word. There is it's only the music, the man music, the music singed by a man. And for me, the movie was built in this tension between these spaces. But also, it was super important for the movie, the cycle that repeat itself. As they go there, they start to make out, they go down, and how every day they have to start. And in this repetition, we are feeling a advance of the Priscilla dramaturgy. We are going more deep in La Mami, and it was super important. Of course, at the beginning, I shot a lot of no, but I shot some super amazing sequence outside the Barba Azul, like Priscilla going to pray to a place super amazing, La Mami, going like La Mami coming from her home, who is just in front del Barba Azul. Another girls going out from when they finish the night so drunk, going to the two-woman restaurants that is just in the side of the Barba Azul, and the women are amazing. But there were like a lot of like options outside. But when we start the edition, we go deep and we understand that simple is beautiful. We get simple and simple and simple, and we finish the movie like this without just going out for a cigarette in a stressful moment, as so many times we did in a dance club. No?
Yeah. So I think we have time for, I think, one final question, and I would like to bring it to the end of the film. So bring the conversation to the end of the film. The film ends with a shot of Mami herself looking at the club. And I would love to know what Mami, who she is to you, and what she represents, and why you ended the film this way.
Yeah, I will tell you something. So when we finished the last cut, La Mami was just cleaning the mirrors, and the movie was finished there. But one day, 1 month after, I dream with La Mami, and I say, no, I can't do that with her. She has to go out from the bathroom in the last moment. So I was like, it came in a dream. And I called my producers and my editor, and I say, we have to add this shot. It's not fair that La Mami doesn't go out. And for me, it was like, it's like, it was super important for me to, to let her like be like go down in these stairs and be there and listen this bolero, which is super important for her, and is talking about her life also. And also go take action to say in a way goodbye to Priscilla, who was dancing in the dance floor. It was super, a lot of things for me. It is she go out in the same way that Priscilla go out the first time. So it is like a mirror. A lot of things for me in this around this sequence, and for me it was super important also because I saw La Mami as a woman who is there just because the girls, and she's all time taking care of them, and she's like waiting in this like cow, I don't know how to say, cueva, I don't know how to say in English, like in this small room, and but when the movie go, you can understand that La Mami has a past, and she has a beautiful past and super strong past, and she has been like a woman like them. And you know, I like to finish the movie with La Mami, not as La Mami, La Mami as La Mami and Olga, and this woman who someday came to the cabaret 45 years ago. And in this moment that she's looking, she's saying goodbye to Priscilla, but remembering her life, all her 45 years in this nightlife, all these things. So yeah, I think, yeah, I could say a lot of things.
I feel we could continue speaking about the film and many of the motifs that it holds for another half hour easily.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, we have to finish here. Thank you so much, Laura, for
yeah.
joining us, for sharing your thoughts, and for sharing your work with us. Thank you, everyone who joined the talk and those who share their questions with us. And we hope to see you in the festival again in the future.
Sure. That's sad because if the festival will be press and I will be there, maybe we can go out for a drink and talk more. But
Amen to that. Amen to that.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you to you, Tammy.